Atletico Madrid vs Arsenal, Mikel Arteta vs Diego Simeone. This is the battle of haram balls, what people would call it. But it's just going to be the opposite of that. Today's video, we are going to be previewing Arsenal vs Atletico Madrid in the Champions League for game week 3. This is really exciting, because I think Atletico Madrid and Arsenal is a very interesting tie. You got two very interesting managers who play a certain style of football, you can say. Diego Simeone likes to play in his low blocks, likes to defend, likes to play that real disciplined football. Mikel Arteta is very similar, but he does the opposite. He has the discipline, he has that defensive fortitude in his play. But Arteta's team is actually very good on the ball, very good at attacking. Set pieces is where I think Atletico Madrid will really struggle to play against Arsenal. And I think Arsenal, we have a strong chance of beating this Atletico Madrid side. However, you'd be very silly to underestimate them. But before we get into all of that, make sure you subscribe. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I think we're around 700 away. It'll be unbelievable if we can get 10k subscribers. And let's try and get this video down to 80 likes. If it gets pushed down to the algorithm, it supports your boy a lot. Now, taking a look at some of our recent form against Atletico Madrid, they haven't lost a game in 7 matches, but Arsenal haven't lost a game in 8 matches. So both teams are going into this game with some pretty good form. Arsenal really struggling to concede a goal right now, and I think Atletico Madrid will struggle to get us on the attack. However, they've had some really big scorelines of late. You can just take a look at right here. 5-2 against Real Madrid. Julian Alvarez is definitely a player that I'm looking at, and I'm worried about him. He's a player that can get you goals, and he's played against Arsenal many times before. He's played in the Premier League. He knows how to score goals against big Premier League clubs. And Julian Alvarez, he's been unbelievable for Atletico Madrid. He's definitely going to be one of their bigger threats. Soloff, I heard he's been pretty good as well. And honestly, to be scoring this many goals against Real Madrid, it is no joke, to be honest with you. They've also beaten Frankfurt in the Champions League 5-1. Again, Julian Alvarez, your same set of players who are just causing terrorizing football right now. But then you could also argue that recent performances here, they're struggling to score goals in their recent games. 1-0, 1-1, 1-1. They draw a lot of games. And one thing you should know about this Arsenal side, we do not concede chances. We do not give the opposition a sniff at goal. I mean, if you take a look at our last 2 games, Fulham away from home, I mean, look, when I dropped the stats here, they had 0 big chances, 0 shots on target. It's the same against West Ham. 0 big chances, 0 shots on target. I mean, apparently they had 2 big chances, but I'm sure if I take a look at a bit more deep dive into the stats, it says, yeah, look, 0 shots on target. Arsenal, we do not concede chances very easily. And this is where I think this Diego Simeone side will struggle, because they will probably sit in a low block. They will probably defend for most of the game, which is actually going to be a benefit of Arsenal. But then again, we do tend to struggle against low blocks, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, some of these scorelines, yeah, it's 1-0, 2-0, 2-0. We still struggle. When it doesn't come from set pieces, we struggle. And when you have the likes of Victor Gyökeres, who isn't really firing on form right now, there's issues, right? But then again, I am still confident going into this game. We are on unbelievable form right now. And it's a really important game we must win. Atletico Madrid are probably the hardest team we have to play in the Champions League. I mean, taking a look at our season stats so far from the predicted lineup that is going to be playing against Atletico Madrid, we have Victor Gyökeres who's on 3 goals. And that's not ideal, if I'm being completely honest with you. Victor Gyökeres, he needs to start scoring goals. And against Atletico Madrid at home, it's a perfect opportunity. They're going to sit back. Victor Gyökeres, I know you like your goals in transition, but you've got this man right here on fire form. Bukayo Saka, the performance he put in against Fulham, Victor Gyökeres, you're evil if you don't score goals, because Saka is going to give you chances, and he gave you chances in that Fulham game. It were quite unfortunate, you let off quite a few shots, but I do expect you to score some goals. I do expect Bukayo Saka to have an unbelievable game. Eberechi Eze, I am slightly underwhelmed with you so far, but I expect you to put up a very good performance against Atletico Madrid. I mean, some really positive news regarding the Arsenal availability, the injury list. Piero Hincapié and Ben White were both training for Arsenal on Monday ahead of their midweek clash against Atletico Madrid. This is really positive news. I really want to see Piero Hincapié play for Arsenal. Ben White, of course, is very good to hear that he's back in training, because we can't just give Jurriën Timber every single game, and it's good to have Benjamin White back in training. Piero Hincapié, I'm really looking forward to seeing him play football as well. I mean, taking a look at the league table for the Champions League right now, Arsenal do sit 5th. We haven't lost a game, we haven't conceded a goal, but this game is really important in taking us into that top half. If we can just keep winning our games, regardless of what the scoreline is, regardless of what the performances are like, we will finish in that top 8. And finishing in that top 8 is really important for us. Of course, we don't have to play the knockout games, the round of 32 in the Champions League. We just go straight into the round of 16, which can not only help us in our Champions League run, but our Premier League run as well. Less games mean less fatigue on the players, which means we can play better in both competitions with more fresh legs. And taking a look at Atletico Madrid, they sit 10th, not too bad. 7 goals scored, 4 conceded. I know they played Liverpool. They almost done a real crazy comeback against Liverpool. They went 2-0 down, caught up 2-2, and then Van Dijk scored a final minute header. However, I do think Atletico Madrid, they are serious contenders in this Champions League tie as well. I mean, looking down a little bit here, Liverpool, whoa. Barcelona, whoa. That's pretty crazy. Actually, I'm actually curious. But yeah, this is a very important game, if I'm being honest with you, in order for us to progress to that later stage in that Champions League. I want to finish first, yeah? I don't care. I want to finish first in the Premier League, in the Champions League group stage. I want to win the Champions League. These games only help build momentum. It only helps build form, which is only a positive. Now, moving on to probably my favourite part of these match previews is our predicted lineups. What I think Mikel Arteta, who he will play against Atletico Madrid in the Champions League tie. I think, of course, David Raya will be starting in goal. I don't think Kepa's our Champions League goalkeeper. David Raya has been in unbelievable form. Right back, I still think we will go for Jurrien Timber despite Ben White being back from injury. I think he's just in unbelievable form right now, and it's a bit criminal if you don't play him. Of course, the same back to Saliba. I don't think Mascara will be getting this game, especially with Saliba and Gabriel being available. Gabriel Magalhaes right there. Now, left back is actually quite interesting. Is Miles Lewis-Skelly going to get the rotation? Is he going to get the call up? I don't think so. I think we still will be going for Calafiori, especially in a really big game like this. I think Arteta will go for Calafiori, considering he's been playing week in, week out, and he's in unbelievable form right now. And because Simeone will be probably playing a low block, will be playing quite defensive, expect Calafiori to start bombing up. You'll see him in the number 10 start taking shots. In the last game, against Fulham, he scored a worldie, almost scored a few other shots. Going forward, Calafiori is unbelievable. And if I'm being honest with you, one of the main reasons as to why Atletico Madrid won't have a sniff is because of this defense. This defense is so impenetrable that you can't do anything. The opposition doesn't really have a chance. However, like I mentioned before, Julian Alvarez is a big threat. I think Martin Zubimendi will still get this game. He's been playing every single game. I wonder when he's going to get his rest. Of course, Nergard is back in training, but I do think we will go for Martin Zubimendi right there. In the left 10, in the right 10, I think we are going to go for Eberechi Eze. He was slightly underwhelming against Fulham. I did want to see him have a better performance. I'm expecting a lot more from Eberechi Eze, if I'm being honest with you. But I do think he is best off that left-hand side. But I think because we have Declan Rice, because he will be playing that box-to-box role, he needs to play on that left-hand side. So I think this will be, we'll play the same middle three again. Then again, I still wouldn't be surprised if we went for Mikel Merino and we saw Zubimendi, Declan Rice, Mikel Merino midfield. I know a lot of people will be crashing out if that happens. On the left-hand side, this one's quite interesting. Are we going to go for Leandro Trossard, who scored the goal against Fulham, the winner, or Gabriel Martinelli? Leandro Trossard, if I'm being honest with you, the full 90-minute match, I wasn't too impressed with him. Martinelli, in terms of performances, he's been very impressive. And I think a game against Atletico Madrid, it just smells like a Martinelli game, if I'm being honest with you. Which is why I do think Mikel Arteta, this is me being optimistic. I want to see him play Martinelli. He's been on really good form. He even came on against Fulham. He looked promising again. So I am going to go with Gabriel Martinelli down that side. And on the right-hand side, of course, it has to be Bukayo Saka. He had an unbelievable game against Fulham. Honestly, world class. He got me so many FPL points, he didn't even get a goal or assist. You know how insane that is, by the way. But Bukayo Saka easily starts on the right-hand side. He's on really good form right now. Scoring for England, scoring for Arsenal. I mean, he didn't score last week, but he looks really good right now. And of course, leading the line, I do think we will be going for Victor Gyökeres. He has to score. I saw promising signs in that Fulham game. He was letting off more shots. He was giving himself more space to work with. I just didn't see that ball being put in the back of the net. And I think a game against Atletico Madrid where Both teams are going to be firing. Both teams are going to be at each other's throat. It's going to be a physical battle. And that's where I think Victor Gyökeres will be at his best, if I'm being honest with you. And if Bukayo Saka can do Bukayo Saka things and give him that service, I think we will see a Victor Gyökeres goal, because he hasn't scored in a very long time. I think it's 8 games in a row, 9 games in a row where he hasn't scored. Not looking good. But this is the lineup that I think Mikel Arteta will be going for against Atletico Madrid. Let me know down below if you agree with me. Let me know if you'd make any changes. I think Miles Lewis-Skelly is a good shout on that left-hand side. Same with Leandro Trossard. But yeah, this is the lineup I think we're going to be going with. Now, moving on to the final bit of the video, we're going to be giving our match predictions. What I think the scoreline will be. And I think it's going to be a bit of a tight scoreline. I don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in this game. You know, Atletico Madrid are very defensive. Arsenal are very good defensively as well. I think it's going to be a set-piece goal involved here. I do back Arsenal to win this game. Honestly, I think 2-1. You know, Atletico Madrid are a good side. Do we even concede? I'm not too sure. But then again, it's Champions League night. It's different. Atletico Madrid are a really good side. They have the likes of Julian Alvarez, who can cause us problems. So I am going to go with a 2-1 win for Arsenal. Victor Gyökeres getting a goal and Bukayo Saka also getting on the score sheet. And for Atletico Madrid, I'm just going to go with Julian Alvarez. Why not? He's been unbelievable for them. Let me know now down below your score predictions. Who you think is going to win the game? I do think you guys are going to back Arsenal for this. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. Remember, 10,000 followers. It was 10,000 subscribers. If you can get that, that would be unbelievable. And remember, 80 likes, it gets to push down the algorithm. It supports your boy.